Graded stakes racing continues. This time we go to Oaklawn Park, and it's the Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap. It'll be run on Arkansas Derby Day, the first Saturday in May this year, and a full field of 14 horses has entered. Let's take a look at this field, including Chess Chief, who gets the inside draw, the one-post position. Dallas Stewart trainee is a 2 for 16 lifetime, and his best Brisnet speed figure is right around that 100 mark. Now, in his last couple of races, he's kind of leveled off at that 96 and 95 mark. I do like the inside draw. I think Brian Hernandez is a good jockey for this track, and I also think that his running style sitting just off the pace, I think there's kind of going to be a cluster of horses in that just off the pace mark, and Chess Chief could get a good trip from the rail. Trophy Chaser enters in from a win at Tampa Bay. He picked up the net victory, and that was kind of a strong little stakes race, the Challenger Stakes race. He beat King for a Day after a stretch-long duel and has worked out steadily since that race. He does got some back class. As a 2-year-old, he was running in some stakes races. The 4-year-old son of Twirling Candy, back-to-back Brisnet speed figures of 104 and 102 in his last 2 races. Bravazzo is a millionaire. He's actually won $2 million now. A 5-year-old, comes off a couple of subpar efforts, all 3 of them this year at Oaklawn Park. Hard to see him turning down that reversal of form. He's lost by 10 lengths, 5 lengths, 5 lengths, and 4 lengths. And he's ran in fast fractions, he's ran in slow fractions, and he just doesn't seem to really have that kick right now. We'll see. I just don't think Bravazzo is going to turn it around in a tough race like this. Mr. Freeze enters as the horse in the most current form. Picked up a 3-length victory as the favorite the last time out at Gulfstream Park. Smokin' Joe Talamo rides, and Mr. Freeze ran 2nd to Mucho Gusto in the Pegasus World Cup, ran 3rd in the Clark Handicap, which is a good solid race, and 2nd in the Fayette, and both those 2 times he ran against Tom's Dietat, who would clearly be favored in this race. Mr. Freeze has good form. He's got a 106 and a 106 Brisnet speed figure. He is probably going to be your most likely race favorite, maybe Tacitus, maybe By My Standards. We'll talk about them, but Mr. Freeze, definitely a top contender. Identifier with back-to-back wins, enters going for the hat trick. The son of Curative Cause is 4 for 11 lifetimes with 4 seconds. Good form, a little bit slower, 197 Brisnet speed figures, but back in the day he's got some 98s and 90s, so I think Identifier is going to have to pick up the pace if he wants to win this race. Warriors Charge has a win over the track. Did run in the Preakness last year, set the pace, and ran 4th that day. This is a nice horse. He's by Munnings out of a Broken Vow mare, and I've always liked his speed figures. He's kind of picked up some big wins as a 3-year-old. I like the fact that he's got 1 prep this year as a 4-year-old. And Florent Giroux rides. Last time out, a 96 Brisnet speed figure. I think he can improve. The track was a little bit front running that day. He's going to have to improve to beat horses like By My Standards, Tacitus, and even Mr. Freeze. But if you want a little bit of an outsider at 7-1, Warriors Charge could be a horse to play. Combatant enters after a Santa Anita Handicap Grade 1 victory, but that was watered down this year. I think this is actually a better field. I think he actually goes down in class on the graded racing scale, but he goes up in current form and horses running at their preferred distance. The Santa Anita Handicap just fell apart this year. The race favorite scratched the morning of the race, and Combatant kind of just ground out a victory at 10-1. He didn't even look like he was going to win that race going into the turn. He was kind of just running evenly. Speed figure came back a 106, which matches the co-top with Mr. Freeze. I think with Joel Rosario, Combatant may get a little bit of extra play, and I think he's the horse that I'm going to play against. Sky Promise enters off a Oaklawn Park race, a win, and then a 2nd, a 188 Brisnet speed figure. He's going to have to pick up the pace here to kind of stay consistent with some of these horses running 102 and 103. The interesting horse is Tacitus on the class drop. He ran in the Saudi Cup in February, ran evenly. I thought he made a little bit of a mid-race move, but the speed just kind of kept on running that day. Maximum Security, the winner. Midnight Basu, Ben Bottle. Those are clearly Grade 1 horses. He ran third in the Jockey Club Gold Cup after being setting the pace. Vino Rosso came out of that race and won the Breeders' Cup Classic, and then he ran second to Code of Honor in the Travers, a Grade 1. So he's got Grade 1 form. He worked out 5 furlongs in 101 last Saturday, and then a late 5 furlong workout. John Velasquez rides Tacitus. Good post position number 9. He's going to be about 5-6 to 1. This could be a race to play Tacitus. Captivating Moon, 5-year-old, 4 wins, 7 seconds, and 24 lifetime starts. Julian Leparoux rides, and he goes turf and dirt. He runs better on the dirt, actually, but he does need a strong pace. So he's going to hope for a fast pace. Captivating Moon could be the type of bomb that you throw in the Superfecta. Tax ran in the Gulfstream Park Pegasus World Cup Invitational, was bet down that day to 4 to 1 and didn't really fire. We'll see if he can fire at Oaklawn Park off the bench after that race. Does have the pedigree, does have some good speed figures where he ran that 102 and 100 last year. Did his best running though in smaller fields. Let's see what he does here in a full field, but Tax still a contender. The horse to beat may be By My Standards. He ran in the Kentucky Derby last year after an upset win in the Louisiana Derby where he picked up a Brisnet speed figure of 102. 2 nice wins this year. Visually, he's looked good. A 97 and a 99 Brisnet speed figure. He's got the back class. He's a son of Golden Sense. I think 9 furlongs is the perfect distance, and he can sit on the outside and kind of determine when he wants to make that mid-race move. He doesn't need to lead. He can rate off the pace. By My Standards is probably the now horse, and can he duel with Combatant, who's got a 106, Mr. Freeze, who's got a 106? I think By My Standards can hit that century mark and kind of be one of the top 3 favorites in this race. Night Ops out of the 13th post position is going to be up against it. He's got that mid-tracking pace, but he's going to have to run on the outside of the other speed. And rounding out the field, Improbable got caught late the last time after setting fast fractions in the Oaklawn Mile. Tom's Todd is passing this race. I think Improbable is going to take a lot of beating in this race. He gets a new jockey. He goes to Martin Garcia, and Garcia used to ride for Bob Baffert. Drayton Van Dyke just never really seemed to fit Improbable well, so maybe that'll help. I don't like the 14th post. He's going to have to gun it early. He's going to face other speed with Mr. Freeze and even some mid-race speed with Tacitus and By My Standards. Improbable, you're finally going to get 4 or 5 to 1 on him. This could be the race to play him out of that 14th post position. Who do you like in the Oaklawn Handicap? Leave a comment below. Share this video with all your racing friends. And Graded Stakes racing continues in 2020.